Excellent.
Great.
Super. Okay. Well, good evening. I'm glad everyone's here. Like we said, it's Lorraine, Alexis, and I on the call, as well as a couple of other students I'll introduce in a second. But we wanted to just take this opportunity to go over a little bit about the Upskill program and introduce some of the tracks that we have this year coming up. Okay. Oops. There we go. So for those of you who are new to Upscale, it is a 1 week intensive experiential learning opportunity for students. Different tracks have different components of it, but the idea is really for you guys to have an opportunity to learn in a very hands-on way different career paths. And so we're going to actually introduce each one so that you can see exactly what the ideas behind them, the overall program, and some of the details. Students will work with a variety of different individuals. It won't just be us in career ed. You'll hear from other partners, trainers, experts in the different areas so that you can learn from them as well as the week goes by. It's the last week of winter session. It's 4 days long. And there's no cost to those who participate, and we do provide on-campus housing and meals.
And really the goal of the upskill program is to try to bridge the gap between what a lot of you all are learning in class and what you'll all be doing in different industries. So we hope that you take the opportunity as a very opportunity for professional development, but also treating it like a very immersive experience, like a really good opportunity to practice like what it will be like to work in that field hands-on as well. So, it's a time intensive schedule, but we intentionally structure it that way to kind of give you that hands-on feeling.
That's right. So the first one that we wanted to introduce was the investment banking track. As you can see, we do spread out the 4 days into two kind of components. The first is participants will actually do a 2-day boot camp, talking about all the different financial information that you might need for that particular career. So we've actually partnered with Wall Street Prep. They're a training firm, and they will come on site to work with you guys for 2 days. There'll be a variety of things that they ask you to not only do ahead of time, but also during the time that you're with them. It's really intensive, and it's a really great opportunity for those who take it. After those 2 days, you'll work closely with others in the investment banking and capital markets teams to actually understand the roles and what they do on a day-to-day, as well as the recruiting process. As you guys know, the investment banking process is a little different. It's open to all majors and all class years, and you don't need any finance experience to apply for the program. As you can see below at the bottom of the slide, we talk about, yes, there's a boot camp. Yes, there's industry panels. We do go into Boston to see some firms. You'll have an opportunity to do a stock pitch and also a little bit of recruiting prep as well. Actually, before we get off the slide, I believe we have an alum who did the investment banking track. Raniela, are you on the call? And did I say your name? There you are. You're muted.
Sorry, I didn't realize. It's Ranielli.
Raniela, thank you.
It's
So
okay.
yes, apparently, yes. Did you do it last year?
Yes, I did. It was an incredible experience. I learned so much from it. I remember telling Casey after it was all done, I'm so glad that I did this. I learned so much. The first 2 days we did the we were reviewing some accounting like principles. So doing that, I actually took accounting the semester right after. So I felt super prepared when I had to take accounting. Also, just the last 2 days getting to like network with so many people was incredible. The pitch also was an amazing experience. So yeah, I'm like super happy and glad that I had the opportunity to do the investment banking cohort.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Tell me, just for others to hear too, why did you apply?
So I applied because I had always been kind of interested in investment banking or more intrigued than anything. But I will say that we don't have a lot of like opportunities to explore investment banking at Wellesley than maybe like at another school, like at business like finance school. So I think this program was like the perfect introduction to the field. And yeah, like I think all the preparation, getting to know so many people was definitely, I think, worthwhile.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so on the next slide, we just had a few pictures for you guys to see sort of the environment that you would be in during those 4 days. Some of it's classroom. As you can see, some when they go into Boston, they also have an opportunity to be in a professional environment and to learn from different individuals. Right, so the next track is entrepreneurship. And this one's really designed for students who are developing an interest in maybe possibly launching their own startup or having that, mindset of being an entrepreneur. The program will allow for learnings of not only techniques and tools and tactics for how to think in that kind of a frame of mind. And again, it's open to all majors and all class years. As you can see, you don't need to even have an idea for startup yourself. You can just sort of be in that mindset of like, yeah, this could be a good area for me long term. And in this track, you have several things that happen. You do Harvard business cases, you study those, you have access to a software from MIT, you do a site visit to a place up in Maine that is like a startup lab. Am I right about this, Alexis? That it's like a startup lab?
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like
go
an incubator accelerator.
Thank you. Yes. And then you guys will be doing some startup pitch as well as a team, which is kind of nice. So definitely well-rounded program for you to really soak in what it could be like to be in that entrepreneurship space. Next slide.
I think oh no, go ahead. Image.
Right, and so these were just a couple pictures to show you what the last cohort did. They were also learning from others in the industry, and it was a really, really interesting experience for them as well. So I'll give it over to Alexis.
Amazing. Sorry. Of course, I was ready early, and then the mute button was not turning on. But so the coding careers track, I did a slight bit of rebranding with it this year to kind of encompass a little bit more of what the student experience was last year. Last year, it was called a coding boot camp. However, there is a nice healthy balance between coding experience, like getting more coding experience. Specifically, we're hoping to bring in somebody else to do more GitHub training. Details to be confirmed on that. But then also at the same time to get you all career experience within different coding careers. So, we'll have different alumni panels talking about career tracks in tech. We'll have an opportunity to do an on-site visit. Last year, we went to Microsoft, and we did like a networking hour with all of their staff, and they really did a great job of bringing in a diverse group of their team, including like a recent Olin graduate who was really more than enthused to talk to Wellesley students last year. But we'll try to do another Boston trip this year, location to be determined, but hoping for another large tech company experience where you can hear a diversity of the different roles that are available within tech. And then also like some technical preparation skills as well. So like technical interviewing was a part of it. And developing a resume ready GitHub project is kind of the central goal of the course, is to develop something that you feel proud enough talking to about with a recruiter. That being said, I want to emphasize right from the beginning that the goal is not to create a complete CS project in 4 days. That's crazy. The goal is really to just like make progress on it and learn how to get started on a personal project. As I've heard that's definitely a skill that students mention would be helpful as they're entering into like interviews and prepping for different internships and even full-time jobs. And I believe Sarah is on the call, who was in my track last year. Is there anything you wanted to add about your experience? And if you also wanted to answer Hilda's question earlier of like why you decided to apply?
Yeah, so I chose to apply because I felt like, although I did learn a lot in my computer science classes here, there's definitely stuff about tech recruiting that you can't really pick up from a classroom, especially like things like networking and things like working in teams and just like figuring out how to build a project from scratch are things that aren't really covered in coursework. So that was my main motivation for applying, just to like learn more about the tech industry in general. And just I had a really good experience, would definitely recommend it. It was awesome to get to work in a group and build a project basically from scratch. It was kind of like a hackathon, if anybody has participated in one of those.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like any pressure or anything to like finish the project. It was more so just to like get a handle on like, if I want to build a project myself from scratch, then how would I get started with that? And how would I work in a team to do that? So overall, I had a really good time. It was definitely really helpful when it came to recruiting season, because I had a project I could talk about and an experience I could also talk about. And I think one of my favorite parts of it was just meeting everybody else and getting to know like everyone's motivations for studying tech, and yeah, just connecting with other students.
So much, Sarah. I feel like, almost like tooting my own horn here. That makes me feel really good. That I'm so glad you got that out of the program. And again, really can't emphasize enough that I told the students, I think a billion times last year, you're just presenting your project to me, and I don't know anything about tech. So I will be very impressed with whatever you come up with after 4 days. So truly no pressure there. Thanks so much, Sarah. And if you want to move ahead to the next slide, Hilda, thank you. So these are some photos from last year's track. The upper right-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner are both from the trip to Microsoft. We took a group photo underneath the logo. And then we also had a picture during the resume workshop that they hosted, where they basically broke everybody into small groups at tables and had a couple of different Microsoft employees reviewing resumes and LinkedIn pages for students. And then we also had some outside challenges, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about afterwards. But one of the things that the teams did together was, build these amazing structures out of marshmallows and spaghetti, because again, like we do also want to build career related skills in all of you, in addition to specific technical skills or specific entrepreneurial skills or specific on investment banking, so on and so forth, for all the different tracks. We want to give you skills that will just help you be career ready in general as well. And you can skip to the next slide. So the medical professions track is brand new and will be very, has the same mission as all of our other tracks. So the goal is still to provide you with that hands-on experience that you might need if you are entering into a medical profession. So the medical professions track is really cool because it's going to actually be held on the Harvard Medical School campus in collaboration with their med science program. Which provides the opportunity for students to do a variety of different medical emergency simulations. They develop medical skills. Last year, students worked on like these dummies, which I don't know if we have pictures of those on the next slide. Stay tuned for that. But we have these dummies that students were able to work on and really get that patient experience without, having to dive too deep into a medical career or take on like a full internship. So if anybody's interested in any kind of patient-facing careers, so doctors, nurses, PEs, there's so many more medical careers beyond that as well. It can just be a great experience, dip your toe and really see if it's right for you, because all of these are, very intensive career tracks. So we want to give you the opportunity to explore, as well as building skills like clinical skill building, learning how to interpret vital signs, simulating medical emergencies we already talked about. And then, just generally exploring different medical professions and getting to connect with people at Harvard Medical School, which can give you some insights about what the process would look like after you graduate and whether that's the right, track for you. So we can move to, I don't know if it's on the next slide, but if we do, we can move to the next one.
There are
You're
some
fine.
pictures, Alexis.
So we amazing. Yeah, and so like these are some of the examples of the dummies that students were able to work on. So on the right, you can see them, placing a trach tube, which is, really cool to be able to do when you aren't even in medical school. And, again, just getting that hands-on exposure can really help you to decide whether or not a career in medicine is right for you. So this is perfect for anybody who's like, I'm kind of interested, but I'd love to know some more information before making a decision. Or even if you're, made a decision you want to go into medical school, but want to get that hands-on experience, this is also a really great program for you to try. So amazing. We can flip to the next one, I think. I'll pass it over to Lorraine.
Okay. Sure. Thank you so much, Alexis. So I'm going to talk to you about an upskill track that's currently in development. And we're 95% sure that this is going to be a go. for this winter. So we just want to mention it to you, and more details are forthcoming, and you can go to the website for more information or contact me or my colleague Becca Miller. But going into the experience, basically this is an upskill track in journalism. It's a journalism boot camp that we are developing with CSIS, which is the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C. This upskill track will be different than the others because this will actually take place in D.C. at CSIS. And so students participating in this track will have a different experience with coordination of like certain logistics, like, getting to DC and then getting to Wellesley. But this track is open to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. They'll be accepting 10 students into this track. And it's really an awesome opportunity to work on an international journalism project, and you will be working with CSIS staff and journalists, and you're really going to get hands-on journalism skills in a variety of different areas like video creation and writing and editing and audio. And it's a very, very cool opportunity that we are developing right now. So stay tuned for more details about that. Oh, and I want to emphasize that no prior experience in journalism is necessary. So if you're interested in the field, just you are welcome to apply. Just apply. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So things to know. Do you want me to continue with this one, or I don't know if anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So we just want to let you know that all these tracks are full-time commitments. So they have, long daily schedules. So students participating cannot take on, courses or any daytime commitments while they're participating in upskill. So we really need 100% participation, and the application process is online on our career education website. And that will open on October 5th. It's a rather straightforward application. You don't need to submit a resume or cover letter. You just have to answer like a few questions and be very thoughtful and intentional about your answers and why you're interested in getting an intensive and immersive experience in each career track. And we do have like a selection process that, we'll be reviewing all the applications. And I think we're going to be notifying people the week of Thanksgiving. Is that correct, you guys?
We can talk about the timeline in a second. It's the next slide. So we can.
Oh, it's the next slide. Sorry, I jumped ahead. But there's a selection process, and we're here to help you for the application process. So if you want to visit us in career ed, drop-ins, or one-on-one advising appointments, if you have questions about the application, or if you want support with your answers, we can certainly help you with that. So, okay, I will let someone take over the timeline.
I'm happy to go through it. Yeah.
Okay.
Application opens October 5th. So in a couple of weeks, and you'll have an opportunity to apply until Monday, October 21st. So that's a few weeks there. And then yes, we'll notify you the first week of November. And to your point, Lorraine, the commitment is you have to let us know by the last week of November before Thanksgiving.
And I just wanted to re-emphasize from the previous slide that just to make sure that we're really hammering it in, that like these days are going to be long. Some of the days last year started at like 9 o'clock in the morning and went until like 7 p.m. at night. Sometimes 8:30 in the morning until a little bit later. So, keep in mind that it's going to be a long and busy day. So if you're signing up for the program and you're making the commitment to join the program, really sit with yourself and think about like if that's the kind of commitment that you want to make, for break. Like we won't be offended if you decide not to take on the opportunity. We had a wait list last year full of very eager students, and I'm sure the programs probably will like this year. And we're more than happy to move on to somebody else if you feel like it's too much of a commitment, or if you took on a class because it was a better fit for you for the winter, you have another internship or something that you want to do instead. That's totally fine. Just make sure that you're making this your only commitment if you're taking on this opportunity, because it's a very busy and long day, and we've got to, try to split your energy or your time and really make.
So I think we lost Alexis. Yes. Yes. So we'll be able to connect more as time goes by, but she's right. We'll let you know in the first week of November, and then it gives you a couple weeks to think about whether this is the right fit for you. And we won't be offended if you decide that something else was fit, aligns better with your priorities either. That's okay too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Thank you, Hilda. I got cut off there by my own phone. This does not want me to be all day.
So here we just put the contacts for each of the tracks. Should you have any questions, you can reach out to us. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to meet with you too. It's more of, you deciding what track you'd like to apply to. So I think we can
have any questions for us at this point? And if you're more shy, feel free to also type it in the chat if you feel more comfy with that.
I guess it was pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Feel free to email us
Well,
if you have questions too.
yeah, we really want all to feel supported in these applications.
Okay. We do have a question.
Great.
Well, we have one question, Alexis. Is housing meals provided for the whole winter break or just the week of the program?
So for Upskill, it's only provided for the week of the program. If you're staying throughout the rest of winter break, I think you have to have a specific reasoning why, and have that like confirmed with Residence Life and Housing, and then they will work on your access to a dining hall for the rest of break. I also do want to make clear that, food and housing can also, last year I feel like students thought that we were going to be bringing in food every day, but we afford access to the dining hall, and we supplement with some other meals, especially if you're going abroad or going to a different state or something like a different situation. But I definitely had some students last year that were like, oh, I thought that all of the meals were going to be brought in and we didn't have to go to the dining hall, but that may be the case. You might have to go to the dining hall. So.
And then
we had another question about when. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just said I shared my screen for the timeline again about when applications open and close. So, so people can see that again and write it down. And it'll be on the website too.
Yeah.
And then here are the contacts again. Let me see if I can get the contacts. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
So what kind of questions are application?
Like I think one of the questions is, your basic name, what year you're in class, what, why are you applying to this particular track? And it's a very direct and simple form for you to answer.
they're very much self-reflective questions. We want to reflect on your experience so far and explain to us why you decided to take on this opportunity, because, you know, even if it's just like a preliminary interest, it's really helpful for us to know where our candidates are starting from, so that way we can, you know, make sure that they are going to be a good fit for the program. For example, if there are some limitations regarding class year wise, or for the coding boot camp track, you have to take in data structures to be eligible for that one. But, you know, we also want to know, like, mentally, like, where are you so far in your career thought process, your career journey? So that's really what the questions are designed to explore more of.
Good question, Ashley.
I don't know if
You want to say that again, Alexis?
because I got booted again. I'm
Okay.
cutting in and out.
Yeah. Well,
I just wanted to make girl.
Yeah. No, I think it seems like we might be good with questions. If anyone has a final question, you can ask now, or, you know, certainly get in touch with us. So,
Yeah, because then you sleep on it, right? And if questions come up, you can always reach out tomorrow or when they come up. That'd be fine too.
okay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Alexis.